Hello and welcome, Rocket League fans. We are here and we are live. The IEN, that's the Indiana Esports Network, coming hot at ya. FBI Tugboat here with me, the man, the myth, the mustache, Hot Sauce. How are we feeling, my friend?
Hey, doing great. Just trying to stay warm over here in Ohio. I've been getting hit with a ton of snow, but excited to be back at the booth, man. I've been missing the casting from the middle school to the high school to the collegiate level, whatever it might be. I'm just excited to be back in the booth. Always a pleasure to be here with you as well, FBI Tugboat. So I know we're going to have a fun time here for this best of five.
Always. A hot spicy best of five coming here at you. Mount Vernon, a 2-0 Mount Vernon, I will add, taking on a 1-1 Plainfield Community Middle School, henceforth referred to as PCMS. Before we hop on into this one, we want to give a shout out to Zotac Gaming for supporting Scholastic Esports within the great state of Indiana. Now you can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming as well by giving them a shout out over there on your various social medias. Make sure to join their community on Discord and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac USA when you post, if you so choose to. Again, Zotac, that's ZOTAC. Hot Sauce. It's week 3, so there's not enough time that has passed, right, to really paint a different picture between these two teams. But Plainfield's definitely going to want to take this W, force both of these teams to a 2-1 overall record after this week 3.
Yeah, Mount Vernon's going to want to stay undefeated as well. I think this is going to be a fun test for both of these schools, right? I mean, it's early in the season. Some teams may have returning members, but, you might have a new player on the roster, building that team synergy. There's a lot that comes into play here, and I mean, if you do suffer a loss, it's always, I think, better to happen kind of earlier in the season than later as you start to build that momentum. So Plainfield 1-1, nothing to really be too worried about yet, but certainly going to be hungry to bounce back here this week, I think, and earn that dub as well.
It's a very good point. Teams are in large part kind of determine their quality, right, by how good they bounce back from bad spots, from bad losses. It's something we were talking about yesterday with the middle school Fortnite as well. One team, I think there were 7-1. Yes, that was Scottsburg coming into that matchup yesterday. 7-1. Their one loss was week 1 in 8-7 loss as well. So a close one, a barn burner. They did take the L. How do you bounce back from that? Well, that was 7 wins in a row. We'll see if one of these two teams, or either of these two teams, can kind of do something like that, because at the end of the day, end of the season, I should say, one loss in the regular season is going to be set you up fat and happy at the end of the postseason. Now, just in case you're unfamiliar, within the IEN, how we do it, nobody gets nixed from a postseason based upon regular season play. You do get seeded appropriately, though, right? And everybody knows what can happen in round 1 when you're a 16th seed, up against the number 1 seed who did not get there by mistake.
Well, we'll see how these two teams fare today one more time in a best of 5. Both these teams go on head-to-head, and a lot of times this first game, kind of a feeler game, trying to feel out the competition, check out the skill levels, who maybe we need to look out for, who's that dangerous player potentially on the squad. So I expect a little bit of a slower start to kick things off, but we're already seeing some good Pong action and a couple attempts here from both teams.
Yeah, like you said, it's a perfect way to describe this. Just kind of that feeler out, how comfortable do y'all feel up in the air? How many passing plays are there? And then the answer right here from Plainfield that was just answered. How often are you going to believe, really dedicate that third player back to just sit in net? As of right now, Plainfield has mostly kept a player back all the way. They haven't really gone on a full offensive run, so don't be surprised, folks, if you see that player do leave that net after they do get a definitive offensive possession.
Yeah, and at those younger scholastic levels, it's something that we see a lot of times, teams kind of being a little more comfortable having a designated goalie. But, the sooner that you get more comfortable getting that goalie out to at least midfield when you pressure down, look for those third-man rotations, the better you're going to get, or the quicker you're going to get better, excuse me. So I do want to see them kind of getting a little aggressive out from that net. We see them making smart commitments there. Even though it's a double commit, they make sure to put a card to the ball, so it's nothing that's going to come back to Hano. A dangerous one there in front of Mount Vernon, though. And, we're still held scoreless here with just a couple minutes gone by.
And talking about haunting him, a great half flip right here. So the just base mechanics, right? Especially in a game like this, like you said, kind of feeling each other out. You have to talk about like individual tech, and that was about as perfect as a half flip as you do get it. Middle school here, folks. Middle school, just immediately, instantly, perfectly, executing a move that maybe one of our casters, at least on this desk, has an issue with sometimes. It's possible. It's possible.
Maybe, just maybe, but we'll see. Both of these teams continue to have a slugfest. It is a good opportunity here for Mount Vernon. The clear does come in, though, and back the other direction we go. Both teams have done great jobs transitioning down the field. They've also done a great job putting a stop to these counterattacks as well. So both teams doing great on the defensive side of things, but you need at least one goal here to win a game. So we're looking to see, who's going to strike first.
It's so frequent that when we see low-scoring games in Game 1, if you're not a fan of low-scoring games, then it will frequently open up a whole lot in Game 2 of a best-of-5. PCMS, that's Plainfield here. Once again, having the goalie back pays off in dividends. They might have a continued shot. That's a backboard play. That is a wayward ball sent way the wrong way. Now it's a run here. PCMS up against the Marauders. Mount Vernon comes out on top. They pull the goalie, and now they're going to feel the fire from it. Mount Vernon, these Marauders do strike first.
They get that first and important goal on the board here, and a lot of time was eaten off the clock here as well. So it's nice to be in the driver's seat when you get this late in the game, but even though it is this late, 141 can seem like an eternity in a game like Rocket League. So one goal often not enough. We'll see if they're able to tack another one on, or if we can get that equalizer on the board.
90 seconds to go, one score differential. That is a wide open ball. Now a bouncing ball dangerously going against the way of the Marauders now. Centered shot, and no one's there from Plainfield. I get leaving one back at times, but leaving two back and expecting one to just get it all done by yourself against three high-level players and Mount Vernon on the other side, I can't agree with that decision.
Yeah, it's tough. We talk about having that comfort of a goalie, but there's a risk versus reward out there as well, especially when you need to put some goals on the board. You don't want to have two stationary targets sitting in front of that net. So we'll see if they can find a way to pressure out a little bit, get some, buy and fight for some space here along midfield as well. They've done a good job getting down the field. It's just kind of finalizing that or capitalizing on that play in front of the net.
Speaking of capitalizing on play, a great takeaway right here, and just an even better flick to the left side. This is a Marauder squad that'll probably be happy just to rack this ball against the walls a couple of more times. This is burning up that chronological resource, which again, folks, is just a fancy way of saying time. 15 seconds of it or so is left. Another shot. Wall ball with their friends, right? We're playing that one. Tennis balls and everything.
Oh, the old wall ball, tether ball. It's all fun in middle school, including the Rocket League. But it is Mount Vernon who is up by one as the regulation will dwindle away. There's still an opportunity, but no.
Okay.
It's knocked to the ground. This one was exciting all the way to the very end, even though it was only a 1-point game. Mount Vernon, this undefeated squad, will rise to the top one more time. They're in that driver's seat. They've got the lead in the series, but it is a best-of-5, and with only one game done, anything can still happen.
Oh, 100%. This could very, very easily go the other way, and this is also something I got to pay attention to. One of these members on Plainfield, probably the player who's playing the goalie. Obviously, these are middle school students, so we're not going to get individual tags as much as numbers. There was one player without any shots. That kind of makes sense, but you look at Mount Vernon, you look at this Marauder squad, and yeah, I think it was 3-2-2 or 3-2-1. This is not a massive shot differential that says, oh, there's only one person who's comfortable taking it, and a nasty mistake in front of net. It took a full 5 minutes, hot sauce, for the Marauders to get on the board in game number one. It was just a tiny, tiny mistake. 8 seconds into game number two for them to get to the same score differential.
Sometimes that's what an early victory can do for you. It boosts that confidence, and when you're feeling a little more relaxed, a little more comfortable, that play style just comes a little bit more naturally for a lot of these younger players. So Mount Vernon, a great start, but even though it is a great start, it still leaves 4:40 on the clock, which is plenty of time for Plainfield to try and find that answer back. Unfortunately, we see a goal going the other way, but this is what I do like from Plainfield. We see not everybody in the goal, right? So this is it's a good step in the right direction. Unfortunately, all three of those players are coagulated together in the same exact spot. So much like soccer, you still have to spread that field a little bit, trust in your teammates, look for those pass plays downfield, try to center it in front of the net, and see if you can come away with a goal.
I feel like it's almost like a good rule of thumb. If you are ever that tight together, wow, nicely done. That's what I'm talking about, finishing a play. Okay, so let's talk about this one a little bit. Comes up to it. First bounce, redirects the car to get a bouncing ball top right corner. May not have been the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, right, that we're accustomed to from mid-pitch up in the air or something like this, hot sauce. Still a goal.
That's right. Fast or slow, as long as it goes in and you put the point on the board, that's the most important thing here when you're looking for the Dubs. Mount Vernon trying to go up 2-0 in this series. They're knocking at the net once more. We've seen Plainfield come alive as well. And after spinning a game scoreless, they found one on the board. They're only down by one. And believe it or not, even though it seems like a lot of time has gone by, only a minute has expired here in game two.
Yeah, it really does. That it's just kind of, 3 scores in a minute or so. Only 1 score in the previous 5. I think sometimes it sets the pace for what you're expecting. A nice shot, top left corner, bounce in. There is no fourth defender this time for the Marauders. The sidebar there, side post. She's assisting this shot in from half pitch. Maybe these squads were listening to me. A fantastic job. Plainfield has not quite bit the bullet again for just squatting up too much. It was that mistake that cost them the second goal that the Marauders did put in. Generally, you're never going to want to be that close together unless you're right in front of the net and you're expecting some high-flying fast shot.
Yeah, and it's something that comes with time and experience as well. And I think, it's sometimes it's tougher to see when you're playing the game, but if you get a chance to go back and watch that VOD with your teammates, you can break down those plays, what went wrong, what maybe you could have done better. And, I think when you watch that back, it's easier to see how we're all three grouped up in that mid side of the field and stuff. So all things that we'll be looking on throughout the regular season as these teams continue to grow here. And, well, we've got ourselves a little bit of a nail-biter here in Game 2. 4 goals in this one, despite only having 1 in Game 1. We're not even halfway through Game number 2.
Another bouncing ball to the middle, and the Marauders kind of taking a while to get on top of it. That was close to an open net situation, given how quickly this esports player 2 was moving from right to left, down bottom. A rolling ball, tries to get out of the way. Just let that kind of sneak into the bottom right-hand corner. Not going to happen as easily. Defender there. This should get foisted out, and does until another Marauder has something to say about it.
Oh, and they keep chipping these shots in, though. It is Plainfield that needs to find a clear. When they get shot after shot like this, it's only a matter of time before they're going to be able to find the back of the net. So Plainfield still searching for that clear. And when you're stuck in your own territory like this, eventually you get starved of boost. It makes things exponentially harder, but Plainfield able to find a bit of a half clear. Not for long, though. Mount Vernon right back the other direction.
Oh, a couple whiffs right there, and then Marauders kind of combined for 2 results in a fastball shot. Just going to hit up against the corner, that backboard, and come back out. Now just fighting over a ball, get to it. These Plainfield squad does, and then kind of abandons it to the corner.
Well, we see him already back the other direction, showcasing some of those aerial skills as well. And now the bouncer down. Mount Vernon, relentless pressure will find them a late game goal. I think there's just about 86 seconds left for Plainfield to find the equalizer. And unfortunately for Plainfield, they find themselves playing from down from the majority of these games. They have been able to tie it up, but we haven't seen them quite be able to steal that lead away yet.
It's been a couple of flashy goals right there, but what I want to see from this PCMS squad, Hot Sauce, is a series of coordinated plays, the results, and goals, right? I'm talking assists, right? I'm talking passes. I'm talking getting ball from the middle to the corner or from the middle to the backboard and to a teammate who can then make a play from an unexpected side. Defense does show up. Plainfield The issue really is not on defense that much, Hot Sauce. More so, again, I want to see a more coordinated offense.
Yeah, it's all about working together. The team communication, a big aspect, spreading the field there as well, working on the give and goes, the pass plays, the crosses in front of the net, everything it takes to make it happen. And as we said, this player says, you know what, I'm going to take things into my own hand here. I want that equalizer. They drive down the sideline. A nice chip shot defender just inches away from finding the stop, but a big goal here for Plainfield late in game 2, 43 seconds, and you feel like whoever scores the next goal really puts themselves at the best shot to win this game.
Kind of posturing up like a demo or some physical play against the goalie right here. A weak shot. This should come out from the backboard. Somebody can take this aerially. Oh, got a little greedy right there. Had to. You were talking about giving to goes. That's a perfect example of one.
You know, sometimes it happens. You see that carrot dangling in front of you out there, and you just want to make it happen for you, for your team, for everything, the moment. But, you know, sometimes we talk about that risk versus reward earlier. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. And, well, with just 5 seconds left in regulation, I don't want to jinx it, but I am hoping for our first overtime here today.
We're single touch against the ground away from that one. Hot Sauce, a bouncing ball left side. Got to pick up boost. Nope. These two teams content to take it to OT. This just felt inevitable, right?
I was hoping for it. I mean, we certainly have been blessed with a lot of OT here throughout these seasons. So, you know, it just goes again to show, despite the records being 2-0 or 1-1, these teams very evenly matched, both fighting with a lot of heart and determination out here, which makes it a lot of fun to see. But right now it is favoring Mount Vernon in front of the net. They'll put the final nail in the coffin, the golden goal. And Mount Vernon will go up 2-0 in the series as they look to keep that undefeated season alive.
See, this is the kind of plays that I'm talking about, right? Not everybody can make every play from every angle on every part of the pitch, right? And this is just a perfect hit against backboard. You're setting up your teammate perfectly. And it's a shot across the middle after two different members. Now, we do see one member coming out on top. 7 shots attempted in that previous one here. Really just will need to see a little bit more offensive possession from this Plainfield Community Middle School squad.
Well, you know, Plainfield put on one heck of a performance in that last game. I felt like they struggled a little bit in game 1. They were kind of still finding their way. They looked good in game 2. Just a couple minor mistakes, as we saw from both teams, and it was just a 1-point deficit. Now, already applying early pressure as we're seeing Mount Vernon forced to make a crazy save there as well. They can't find the clear. Eventually, they get it, but Plainfield, I think, beginning to pick up that pace a little bit.
Cornered out. This Plainfield squad was very, very preoccupied with that one for great reason. I thought that was going in as well, Hot.
I think we were all holding our breath until we heard the tink from the post there. I was right there with you, Tugboat.
Oh, that's funny. 45 seconds into this one, weaving through a couple of different defenders, but no boost there and can't quite get to the ball. It's a fantastic play off of this backboard and all the way out to the corner. There's one demo already. We only saw 3 of those last games, so don't be surprised if you continue to see the physical pace, the physical nature of this game get turned up to 11.
Absolutely love it. I'm all for that spinal tap action here as we see it go up to 11 one more time. This time, Mount Vernon again fighting on the back pedal, and it is Plainfield that has really controlled the majority of the pace here in game 3, but even though they've had a lot of good opportunities, they haven't been able to capitalize. We see those bumps. You don't always have to find a demo, right? Just a big bump is something that can change a big play.
Tell me, Hot Sauce, I'm definitely more tilted if I get bumped twice like that, like literally just like shoved around by these opponents. Instead of just demo me, just let me reset and give me my 33 boost, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like I'm getting bullied in middle school for my lunch money again. Quit pushing me around, guys. I want to play too.
I don't want to sit in a locker. Oh, bullying is bad. All jokes aside, right?
Absolutely.
Bouncing ball down low. That's actually covered up really, really well. Again, Plainfield just kind of seems like they're waiting for their opportunities a little bit instead of like snatching opportunity, you know, from the possession that Mount Vernon's been optimizing.
Yeah, and early game we saw a lot of good opportunities from Plainfield. We saw that ball in front of the Mount Vernon net 2 or 3 times in dangerous position, but they just couldn't quite capitalize. And now we're seeing Mount Vernon getting to have some of that success as well. It is a bit of back and forth as we crest that halfway point, but again, it's been interesting. We had a 1-0 game followed up by a 7-point game, and now another low-scoring game. I love the fact that we're seeing both of these teams able to play to their opponents and really just kind of do what works for them at the moment. So you're kind of unsure who's going to come out on top of the moment.
Well, I see a feisty member right here just absolutely challenging everybody for possession, gives it over to the teammate, and that is what I'm talking about. There you go, Plainfield. This may not even be in like an intentional pass, right? Because especially after MS Esports 2 comes up for this, the angle at which they're coming in at ball, they literally just kind of gyrate perfectly under this one. Ball goes over them. Teammate there for Plainfield is able to get it in. This is the first time that Plainfield is going to be enjoying the lead, Hot Sauce.
Enjoying that lead. That was something we talked about in that last game, where every time they could find that equalizer throughout the series, but they weren't quite able to get on top. They found it here. It's a dangerous ball, but nice subtle save there to keep it out momentarily. Mount Vernon will control the pressure for a little while longer. It is Plainfield looking for this clear. 1:40 on the clock, and big booming clears can help eat some of that time up, but you can't get complacent with only one goal, and that is why Mount Vernon, the equalizer.
At a certain point, you got to dedicate a player to this backboard, right? This MS Esports player, too, was just able to completely dominate that entire area. People talk about the flat part of this pitch, right? You got to talk about that. Yes, the corners, but specifically that backboard, especially when so many passes just originate from that area, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's tough. It's tough for me, let alone, these guys are better than I am, even at the middle school level. And so, I think when we're watching from the sideline here, you don't always realize how fast these moments are happening as well. You see that ball floating in the sky, but it is split-second reactions and decision-making to help you keep everything oriented and moving in that right direction. So I think every time I come on here, I just get more and more impressed by how quicker this younger talent seems to just get it.
We'll call it a tactical whiff right there. Make your opponents think where the ball is coming in a place that it is not. The strategy is coming out right here, split second as they may be. 42 seconds left. Defense is what Plainfield has been sitting in for probably the past 60 seconds or so. I mean, if I'm Mount Vernon, hey, we just took the OT and we dominated the entire time. Why not go back there?
Hey, why not take it back? I mean, if it works, it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it, as they say. But 1-1, could we potentially see another overtime? I don't really want to jinx it, but I'd love to see Plainfield try to steal away a game here. I'd love to see this go into more than just 3.
Yeah. Obviously, best of 5 can be determined in 3, and we'll have our opportunity to give the perfect, caster voice line, right? Well, the scoreline doesn't actually, indicate how close this one was. Well, that's the copy paste score voice line that you guys are going to get if Mount Vernon does take this, because the 3 1-score differences if again they do take this W. Oh my goodness, jinxed it. I'm sorry, Plainfield.
It's tough, I mean, honestly, I give Plainfield props. I mean, a lot of times they played from behind. They never, ever at any moment gave up. They continued to fight tooth and nail to the very end. And it's a little bit of an unfortunate ending. I was hoping to see him take that one away. But, Mount Vernon is undefeated for a reason. And it's about consistently playing well, not just for the full 5 games of the series if you need it, but for the full 5 minutes of each and every game, and about limiting those mistakes. So Mount Vernon, just a slightly better team here today. I have no doubt. I feel like Plainfield 1 and 2, the record really doesn't do them justice, because they really, competed with this Mount Vernon team. I think we saw every game only separated by a single goal. So Plainfield should certainly hold their heads very high.
And especially given that, this is the classic, right? We saw, as low scoring a game as you can possibly get, in 1-0 to begin this one off. The tempo gets increased by both of these squads after they've learned a little bit. I mean, obviously Mount Vernon has almost certainly played against Plainfield before, right? Whether that's just the individual players who have played against individual players on the other side, or formal competition, right? So they a lot of this is learning how is this team going to play on the day, right? For American football, you say any given Sunday, right? Because an amazing team can get taken down by a team that's not been playing so great recently on any given Sunday or whatever else like that, right? 4-3, so the scoring goes way, way up, but then you get another overtime in Game 3, more of a standard scoreline there, Hot Sauce, no shutouts, but not a massive flurry of scoring for either team. 2-1 would be the final score. If I'm Plainfield, I think that there's just a couple, and I mean small things that really need to work on. It's not like you need to relearn rotations or anything crazy like that. I just think taking it aerially like 10% more, and then also having that third player out of the goal sheet up a little bit farther when you're really trying to get offensive plays going. And these are things that are fixed like that, right? So if the biggest mistakes, I should say, right, are those two. They're still sitting real good, and also it's not like they're 0-3. They still have one win across their 3 weeks of competition. Hot Sauce.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me that's the biggest thing. And we saw that in Game 1. They kind of almost had a double goalie set up. Game 2 and 3, they got a little bit more comfortable. We saw them getting out, and even that designated goalie we saw getting forward just a little bit more. So VOD review is great for those kinds of things. No doubt we'll see Plainfield bounce back, but it was a fun and exciting cast, as always. It's always great to showcase the wonderful young talent that we have here. And so I do want to give another big shout out to LandFest. This broadcast is part of LandFest's Scholastic Esports program, and it's a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in both Washington and Indiana. And well, we provide these broadcasts free of charge. That's right, free to the leagues, the schools, and the teams we cover. And that's all possible because of your generous donations. Every $200 raised will cover the operating costs for an entire regular season. So if you appreciate our work, you like what we do, and you are able to help out today, please scan that QR code on screen and donate today.
Yeah, now I also want to give a huge shout out to League OS Portal. Now, do you want to play esports in college? Well, now you can search through hundreds of collegiate esports programs at a bunch of different places across the U.S. over there at portal.leagueos.gg, spelled out just like I said. Scholarships exist for players, for shoutcasters, and more, so list all of your talents. Now, verified collegiate coaches are searching through the LOS portal right now to find you and players just like you. IEN students can sign in to manage your prospect profile, where those stats are automatically updated match over match. For example, everybody on both of these two sides, a gamer tag involved or just within the individual account. After this, shots, assists, obviously goals, and the overall outcome will go straight on in to be updated over there on League OS. Now, of course, folks, LOS Portal is free. Now, don't miss your chance to get discovered. You can visit portal.leagueos.gg and level up your future. Another shout out I want to give, of course, is to our absolutely goated production staff. That is Connie, that is Taylor, Jaden, back there behind the scenes helping us out and basically making this come to you. We're doing the easy job here. Big shout out Connie, Taylor, Jaden, of course. Hot Sauce. Yes, we do have Marvel Rivals as well. That is going to be middle school best of 3 Monday, February 2nd. Man, January is almost basically over by now already, Hot Sauce.
It's crazy. Well, as we wrap up for the day, I do want to give one more final thank you to all the competitors here today, the schools involved, everybody behind the scenes, as Tugboat said, over at IEN as well. It takes a lot of people there. And of course, if you showed up and showed out in chat, whether it's the parents, the teachers, the students, the friends, the family, we certainly appreciate each and every one of you. So hit that follow button so you don't miss out on the action. We'll see you back here February 2nd for some Marvel Rivals, but I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your evening. Take care.